No one would ever guess this place is a prison. Luxury decor, a fridge packed with endless drinks, and a big comfortable bathtub. The inmates here eat lobster and steak every day. Whenever they get bored, they can even play video games inside. Take hot baths, even girlfriends. The prison gives them the most beautiful ones. And this inmate took the lives of 17 innocent girls and children. In court, the judge once wanted to give him the harshest sentence right away. But in the courtroom, he still showed no remorse. He acted like he didn't care at all. So the judge decided to teach him a lesson. Then he was brought here. Looking at this 5-star hotel, the inmate believed there had to be a trap. So he checked every corner of the room, but every corner was perfect. Before long, the inmate couldn't fight it anymore and fell asleep. When he woke up the next day, the first thing he saw was a steak on the table. Besides the steak, there was also a small note. It said, "Since you were still asleep, we didn't want to disturb you. This is your lunch. It was personally made for you by a top chef." Giving him food this good right after he arrived, was that even possible? Without saying a word, the inmate dumped the food. By the third day, the inmate came back to the dining table again. Looking at the Australian lobster on the table, he started questioning reality all over again. But the criminal still didn't dare to eat it, so he threw it away again. But unexpectedly, the warden standing nearby picked up the lobster he had just tossed and started eating it. The inmate was stunned watching what the warden did, and from that moment on, he started to believe everything here was real. He began eating and drinking freely every day. When he got bored, he played video games. When he had nothing to do, he took a bath. Until one day, the warden brought him a girlfriend. The inmate asked the warden in disbelief, "Do you know what I did?" The warden said, "Of course I know, but this is an order from above." After saying that, the warden left the prison. The inmate stared at the woman in front of him, completely confused. He had committed an unforgivable crime, so why was he getting this kind of treatment? He believed this had to be some plan from the people above. So he grabbed the woman by the neck and asked what she really wanted. Right then, the warden rushed in and stunned him. When he walked to the bed, and beside him was still that same woman. The inmate asked the woman, "How exactly did you end up in here?" The woman said she had also taken someone's life. She had killed the husband who abused her. As she spoke, tears began to fall. The inmate looked at the woman and didn't know what to do. Just like that, the inmate slowly got used to having this woman around. From then on, the woman would eat with him at the same table. Every time they ate, she would take the initiative to put food into his bowl. As time went on, the two of them even started watching shows together in the room. This killer, who had never cared about his appearance, actually learned to wear cologne in front of the girl. At night, the woman went back to her own prison room. During the day, she came back here again. That day was the woman's birthday. The inmate even prepared a birthday gift for her. Their relationship. As they talked, the inmate leaned in and kissed her, and behind them, the warden happened to see that exact moment. But that was exactly what he wanted to see. The next day, the warden came to their room and told them some good news. Starting today, the woman no longer had to return to her own room, and they would even hold a wedding for the two of them. Hearing this news, they were both overjoyed. Not long after, the woman became pregnant with the inmate's child. From then on, the inmate went from a ruthless killer to a good man who loved doing housework, until one day the woman's stomach suddenly started hurting. The baby was about to be born. This was the first time the inmate had ever been this anxious over a child who was about to enter the world. The inmate took the woman to the hospital. Then he waited anxiously outside the door. Before long, the baby was finally born. He looked at his own child and was incredibly happy, because this was his first time becoming a father. But just when he thought life could be this happy, bad news arrived. His wife didn't make it off the operating table. When the inmate heard the news, he broke down crying. A ruthless killer finally experienced the pain of losing someone he loved. Soon after, the inmate returned to his prison. Now the only reason he had left to keep living was the child in his arms. But after only a few minutes, the baby started crying loudly. The inmate quickly picked up the phone and called the warden. At that moment, countless people were watching the inmate through the cameras. This was the highest punishment in the prison. Let the inmate experience a happy life, then let him experience the pain of losing it all. The woman was nothing more than a robot. The child was fake too. When the judge asked the victims' families whether they wanted to increase the punishment, the families all agreed that the inmate's suffering was still nowhere near enough. So the warden beside him pressed the red button. The killer watched as the baby in front of him went still. He completely lost his mind. A heartbreaking pain surged up from his chest. He kept slamming his head against the wall, then he passed out. Not long after, the inmate woke up from the dream. The first thing he said after waking up was, "Please, just let me die." But the warden told him, "This is the highest level human rights prison. Its purpose is to make inmates live through an entire lifetime of pain."